Citra Aulia Marsa. You guys can call me Chit or Citra. I'm an English literature student. So today I'm making this video for my final project for Introduction to Psycholinguistic. In my first semester as English literature student, I've never thought that we're going to learn about psychology and linguistic. I never thought that these two things will be really related, but it's totally connected and related, because to produce the speech, to produce the language, we are going to produce it through our brain. We're not only so in this semester we're not only talking about the grammar, how to speak English, how to improve our listening skill, but we also have to increase our comprehension about how do we produce the language itself. As I said before, that this subject is very interesting, right? So you must be wondering, so what the materials that we learn on this subject on psycholinguistic? First, we must be learning about the definition of psycholinguistic itself. As I mentioned before, psychology and linguistics, that's why the subject named as psycholinguistic, because we're talking about the psychology aspect of language production. And then the second one, we're talking about human versus non-human communication. It's very interesting, because at first I thought non-human, like animals, also have their own language, but we cannot call that as a language because on their way to communication, they don't have the standard, they don't have the grammatically, they have no structure, so we cannot put the animals a way of communication as a language. Third material is the role of brain in language production. Psychology mostly talking about how does brain work, how does what parts of the brain that we can use to produce language and some kind of stuff like that. And the fourth material is about brain structure. Honestly, I think this material is a bit difficult because I'm not really good at remember the structure of the brain, because honestly the name of every part of brain is pretty difficult to remember, and also we need to remember about the use or the function of every structure. So yeah, it's difficult, but it's still fun to learn. So the fifth material is about language production. Language production is about when you choose every right word, every right grammatically when you talk, so you can produce appropriate sentences when you guys do the communication. And then we have language acquisition. Language acquisition usually happen when you were a kid, when you get to learn, when you get the ability to talk in your mother tongue. So here's the difference: when you do the language production, you do it consciously, but when you do the language acquisition, which is need a very long time to do that, even start when you were a baby till you're a teenager, you do it in your unconscious, under your unconscious, subconscious, something kind of like that. In linguistic, we learn about 7 materials. The first one is defining psycholinguistic. The second one is human versus non-human communication. The third one is the role of brain in language production. The fourth is brain structure, and fifth, language production. 6, language acquisition, and 7 is second language acquisition. From all those materials, I have one topic that really catch my interest, it's the second materials. It's human versus non-human communication, because at first I thought animals have their own language, but turns out we cannot categorize their way of communication as a language, because there has no standardization, there is no grammatically, they have no structure. So it's really impressed me because at our first meeting, our lecturer asking us about Do you think animals has language? And I'm confidently say yes, but turns out it's no. We cannot categorize that as a language. It's just the way they do the communication, But what if someday someone or something can do the structures, can analyze the structures of animals or non-human communication? Probably it could be turned out as a language, but for today, the way animals do communication, we cannot categorize it as a language. Yeah, it really shocks me. It's really it's such a fun fact to me, because I was like, I feel a bit dumb, but it's a new insight. As I mentioned before, this class is very interesting because our lecturer has his own way to start the class with the games or ice breaking to refresh our brain, to make us more ready to new knowledge, but we could put more practice in the class, or make more illustrated of every single material, so as a student, so the student like me and my friends could be more understand of the topic. It doesn't mean that we don't understand the topic, we understand the topic, but I guess it could be increase our comprehension of each of the materials. So yeah, that's all that I can say, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you.